at the scene of the car accident. The hospital had only one bag of negative blood. Everyone thought this would be a melodramatic life-and-death choice, until my deeply affectionate fiancé, Patrick, grabbed the doctor, eyes red, and roared, "Give this bag of blood to Anna. I choose Anna. Sarah, you can definitely tough it out yourself." He thought he was enacting a peerless love story, so moving that even his white moonlight was teary-eyed. I cried too. Is this something a human would do? Just as my heart turned to ash, the chief surgeon picked up the blood test report and looked at him as if he were an idiot. Care to elaborate? How exactly will she, with ordinary type A blood, die without this bag of negative blood? In that moment, the expression on Patrick's face was more spectacular than the lights in the emergency room. My name is Sarah, and right now I'm lying on a cold gurney, feeling life slipping away bit by bit along with my body temperature. Noisy voices and the clatter of medical instruments filled my ears, along with Patrick's heart-wrenching roar, enough to make listeners weep. "Doctor, save her. I beg you, save her. Use the best medicine. Use the best equipment. Money is no object." Look, how deeply affectionate. If the hand he was tightly holding right now wasn't his white moonlight on us, but mine, I would probably be moved enough to die for him again. Yes. We had just been in a car accident. He was driving. I was in the passenger seat. And in the back was Anna, his childhood sweetheart who happened to come to our city to relax. The cause of the accident was simple. Anna coquettishly said from the back seat that she wanted to eat the limited edition cake from the west side of the city, while gently replying, "Okay, I'll take you there right now." Patrick swerved violently to change lanes, completely missing the truck speeding towards us from the side. The huge crash, the sound of shattering glass, and Anna's piercing scream formed my last memories before consciousness blurred. Waking up again, I was in the chaotic emergency area of the hospital. I was badly injured. My left leg was probably fractured, sending piercing pain with every movement. Unbearable pain also came from my ribs, and warm liquid flowed down my forehead, blurring my vision. But what hurt more than my body was Patrick's attitude. From beginning to end, he didn't come to look at me once. His entire world revolved around Anna, who only had minor scratches and was frightened, crying like a pear blossom bathed in rain. I heard him coaxing her with a gentle voice I had never heard before. "Anna, don't be afraid. It's okay now. I'm here. I'm always here." How ironic. Half an hour ago, this man was discussing with me which friends to invite to our engagement party. The next moment, for another woman, he put both of us in danger, and then turned a blind eye to me when I was critically injured. But I was still too naive. I thought this was the limit of pain, until I heard a nurse running over anxiously to report to the doctor. "Chief, the blood bank is an emergency. There is only one bag of negative blood left now. Panda blood or negative." That's me. Is Anna too? I had never heard Patrick mention it. Then, I heard words that I might never forget in this life, or the next, or the one after that. It was Patrick's voice, with a desperate madness, shouting, "Give this bag of blood to Anna. I choose Anna. Sarah, you can definitely tough it out yourself." Time seemed to stand still at this moment. I could even feel the gazes of the surrounding doctors and nurses, a mixture of shock, sympathy, and disbelief. I was stunned too. My blood seemed to freeze instantly. I couldn't even feel the pain of the wounds anymore, only the sound of my heart being smashed into pulp, piece by piece, by a blunt instrument. "Sarah, you can definitely tough it out yourself." Patrick, with what mindset, what standpoint, could you say such words to your girlfriend of 3 years whom you were about to get engaged to, using my life-saving blood to save your white moonlight, and then casually telling me to tough it out myself? I lay there, tears uncontrollably welling up, not because of the injury, but because of hatred, regret, and the feeling that these 3 years were a huge joke. Anna seemed moved by his earth-shattering choice, emitting faint, weak sobs. "Patrick, don't be like this. Sarah, don't speak. Save your strength." Patrick interrupted her, his tone unquestionably firm. "I'm here. I won't let anything happen to you." I cried too, silently. Tears flowed down my temples into my hair, icy cold. Is this something a human would do? "Patrick, are you fucking crazy?" Just as I was completely disheartened, thinking I was really going to do as he wished, tough it out myself and then meet go to calm voice. clearly displeased, rang out. It was the chief surgeon. He almost gritted his teeth as he said to the nurse, "Transfuse the panda blood to Sarah first." Like a dawn breaking through the darkness before my eyes. However, hearing this, Patrick couldn't take it anymore. His eyes almost popped out of their sockets. If nurses hadn't stopped him, he would have wished to grab that bag of blood himself. I said, "Use it for Anna. Can't you understand human language? Without this, she will die." Veins popped out on his forehead. Looking mad, the doctor finally stopped what he was doing. He picked up a lab report nearby and looked at Patrick as if he were an idiot. His speechlessness almost tangible. Really? He shook the paper in his hand. Care to elaborate? How exactly will she, with ordinary type A blood, die without this? The entire emergency rescue area fell into a strange dead silence. All the previous noise, crying, and arguing seemed to have been muted. Patrick's handsome face, distorted by excitement and worry, froze instantly. His expression solidified in a very ridiculous arc, mouth slightly open, eyes wide and round, as if he had been hit in the face with a club. What? He murmured almost unconsciously. The doctor obviously had no patience to act in a tragedy with him. He slammed the blood test report directly onto the mobile medical record board in front of Patrick, his tone cold and hard. "See clearly. Anna, blood type A, positive. Sarah, blood type O, or negative. Tell me, by giving this bag of negative blood to your Miss Anna, are you planning to make her die faster?" Pfft. Not knowing which little nurse couldn't hold back. A very light snicker was heard. This laugh was like a needle, instantly piercing that layer of awkward film. Suppressed whispers could be faintly heard around. "Oh my God. After all that woman isn't panda blood at all. Is this guy sick? Fighting for blood that isn't even needed." Looking at him just now, I thought he was so deeply affectionate. Turns out he didn't even get the blood type right. The point isn't this, right? The point is he wanted to sacrifice his actual girlfriend's life for a white moonlight who isn't even panda blood. Scumbag. Bah. These whispers were not loud, but in the environment where a pin drop could be heard at this moment, they clearly entered each of our ears. Patrick's face went from the flushed excitement just now to deathly pale in an instant. He picked up that lab report in disbelief, his hands shaking violently, as if it wasn't a piece of paper but a red-hot iron. "No. Impossible. Anna clearly is." He spoke incoherently, suddenly turning to look at Anna lying on the other bed. Anna was dumbfounded too. Before the emotion and weakness on her face could fade, they were mixed with huge panic and embarrassment. Her face turned red and white, colorful like a palette. She opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but couldn't utter a word. She could only close her eyes evasively, her body trembling slightly. I didn't know if she was ashamed of lying or annoyed that Patrick's stupidity made her lose face so badly. Perhaps both. And me, lying there, my body, originally cold from blood loss and heartache, seemed to be injected with a strange warm current that wasn't being moved, but a cold clarity after extreme anger, and a nearly cruel mockery. "Patrick. Oh, Patrick. You kept saying you loved her more than anything, willing to die for her. Turns out you didn't even know her blood type. For her, you sacrificed me without hesitation, treating me like an object to be discarded at will. Turns out you got the wrong person and acted out a loophole-filled deep affection drama." This was simply the funniest joke I had ever heard. I tried to take a breath, suppressing the sweetness of blood in my throat, using the loudest voice I could muster at this moment. Although hoarse, it echoed clearly in the air. "Patrick, you really disgust me." He shuddered, looking at me sharply, eyes full of chaos, wretchedness, and a trace of accusation he didn't have time to hide. Was he blaming me for making him lose face so badly? The doctor clearly didn't want to waste any more time on this farce. He decisively ordered the nurses, "Transfuse Sarah immediately. Prepare for surgery. Clear out unrelated personnel." The nurses acted immediately. Some started hanging that bag of panda blood that almost fell into other hands for me, while others went to invite Patrick out of the rescue area. The cold blood flowed into my veins along the tube, bringing a trace of life's warmth. But in my heart, that ice cave he chiseled out himself could never heal. Patrick, being pushed by nurses, still refused to leave. He tried to explain. "Sarah, Listen to me. I didn't know. Anna told me before she had rare blood type. Get out. I closed my eyes, not wanting to see his disgusting face again. 2 words exhausted all my strength, and drew a bloody period to my 3 years of misplaced affection. Blood type slap in the face. Satisfying, but more pathetic. For myself, and for his cheap and stupid deep affection. I was wheeled into the operating room. Before the anesthesia took effect, what replayed repeatedly in my mind wasn't the horror of the car accident, but Patrick's unhesitating "I choose Anna," and that stupid pig expression when he later learned the truth. The surgery went very smoothly. Fracture reset. Wounds sutured. When I regained consciousness, I had been transferred to a VIP ward. Outside the window, the daylight was bright, stinging my eyes a bit. Guarding my bedside were my best friend Zoe and my brother David. Both their eyes were red and swollen. Obviously, they hadn't slept all night and had cried. "Sarah, you're awake." Zoe threw herself over, carefully holding my hand without the Ford drip. Her voice choked with tears. "Scared us to death." My brother didn't speak, just pursed his lips hard, patted my shoulder, and his eyes reddened again. He was always taciturn, but I knew the fear and anger in his heart. "I am fine now," I spoke, my voice dry and hoarse. Zoe quickly fed me some water. Just as I caught my breath, the ward door was gently pushed open. Anna came in. She was wearing a hospital gown, a small piece of gauze on her forehead, face pale, eyes dodging, holding a bunch of tacky lilies. My brother and Zoe's faces darkened instantly. Sarah. She stood at the door, daring not approach. Voice faint as a mosquito. "Are you better?" I came to see you." I didn't speak, just looked at her coldly. Zoe wasn't so good-tempered. She stood up directly, crossed her arms, and sneered. "Yo, isn't this Miss Anna who would die without panda blood?" "What? Type A blood can receive panda blood now. Or are you here to boast about your charm, making a man snatch someone else's life-saving blood for you?" Anna's face lost all color instantly, lips trembling, tears falling readily. Sorry, Sister Zoe. I didn't mean to. I fainted at the time. I didn't know anything." "Don't call me sister. We aren't that close." Zoe interrupted her unceremoniously. "You fainted. I heard you acting quite vigorously with Patrick. Don't be like this." And Sarah, at the time. "What?" Now turning into a white lotus who knows nothing again. Anna was rendered speechless, only able to keep crying. At this time, Patrick also appeared at the door. He looked much more haggard, unshaven, eyes sunken, carrying a thermos container. Seeing the situation in the ward, he paused, then walked in quickly, subconsciously wanting to shield Anna. "Sarah, you're awake. How do you feel?" He looked at me, eyes full of ingratiation and guilt. "I had soup made at home, Patrick." I interrupted him calmly, my voice without a ripple. "Take your soup, and your person, and get out." His body stiffened, a painful expression appearing on his face. "Sarah, I know you're angry. Yesterday was my fault. I was too anxious." You were too anxious." I repeated his words, the corner of my mouth hooking into an extremely cold smile. "Anxious enough that you didn't even have time to confirm the blood type. Anxious enough that you could unhesitatingly trade my life for her safety." "No. I thought Anna was also panda blood at the time." She told you before." I interrupted him again, shooting a sharp gaze at Anna hiding behind. "Anna, did you tell him you were panda blood?" Anna trembled all over, head lowered even more, crying with shoulders shaking, just not speaking. "Look," she admitted by default. I looked at Patrick, eyes full of pity. "Patrick, you were deceived by her, for a lie. You almost killed your girlfriend of 3 years with your own hands. How does it feel?" Patrick's face looked even worse. He turned to look at Anna, his eyes carrying questioning and scrutiny for the first time. "Anna, are you really?" "I'm not. I didn't mean to." Anna finally shouted in breakdown. "I just seeing you so nervous about Sarah's blood type before. I felt uncomfortable." Casually said I seemed to be rare blood type too. "I didn't expect you to take it seriously. Even less expected yesterday's event to happen." What a casual remark. What and didn't expect. Lightly excusing herself, pushing all the blame onto Patrick's taking it seriously and the accidental car crash. Patrick was stunned. He looked at Anna, Expression complex disappointment, anger, but mostly, seemingly a bewilderment after being deceived. Looking at him like this, I only felt incredibly ironic. Patrick, do you understand now? I spoke slowly, every word like a poisoned needle, piercing his heart, and my own long-arm nerves. Your so-called unforgettable love, the love you were willing to sacrifice everything for, was built on a lie even regarding the most basic fact like blood type. And you, for this lie, almost became a murderer. No, Sarah, listen to my explanation. He still wanted to struggle. Explain what? My brother David finally spoke. He stood up, his height creating pressure that made Patrick subconsciously step back. Explain how you chose to save another woman when my sister's life was in danger. Explain how you bit people randomly like a mad dog without even getting the facts straight. Patrick, we, the Chung family, have seen through you. Patrick was scolded speechless, face alternating between green and white. Get out. I closed my eyes, tiredly issuing the eviction order. I don't want to see you again. Ever. Zoe stepped forward directly, unceremoniously stuffing the lilies back into Anna's arms, then pushed and shoved the two of them out of the ward. The moment the door closed, the world was quiet. I knew Patrick and I were done, not because he chose to save someone else, but because his choice was built on such ridiculous, despicable lies and stupidity. This disgusted me more than simple betrayal. After Patrick and Anna were invited out by my brother and Zoe, the ward wasn't quiet for long. Soon, my parents arrived. They obviously already knew what happened from the doctor and my brother. My mom hugged me and cried as soon as she came in, touching my hair and face repeatedly, muttering, "My darling suffered. Scared mom to death. That damn Patrick. How dare he? How dare he?" My dad stood by the bed, face ashen, silent, but clenched fists and slightly trembling body betrayed his monstrous anger. Usually a gentle person, I had never seen him this angry. Dad, Mom, I'm fine. I held my mom's hand back, comforting her, and myself. Fine. This is called fine. My dad slammed the cabinet next to him, making a loud bang. If not for the doctor's persistence, if not for that Anna not being panda blood at all, my daughter would. He couldn't go on. Eyes reddening. Just then, there was a knock on the ward door again. It was Patrick's parents, carrying fruit baskets and supplements. Their faces showed unconcealable embarrassment and anxiety. Old Chung, sister-in-law, Sarah. Patrick's father rubbed his hands, smiling apologetically. We heard. This mess. Patrick is a bastard. He's not a thing. We apologized to Sarah on his behalf. Patrick's mother also hurried forward, wanting to take my hand. Sarah, are you better? Auntie was worried to death. Patrick, that confused egg. He was dizzy with anxiety for a moment. Dizzy. My dad blocked Patrick's mother's hand directly, voice cold as ice. Dizzy enough to disregard my daughter's life. Dizzy enough to yell and snatch someone else's life-saving blood in the hospital. Your Liu family really has good upbringing. Patrick's parents' faces turned pale instantly. Old Chung, calm down. This was indeed Patrick's fault. We will definitely teach him a hard lesson. Patrick's father tried to salvage the situation. Teach a lesson. How? My mom looked up with teary eyes, tone sharp. Sarah was lucky this time. What about next time? Next time do we wait for him to push Sarah into a fire pit? And you come with he didn't mean it. There won't be a next time. I spoke calmly, looking at Patrick's parents. Uncle, Auntie, please go back. Patrick and I are over. Sarah. Patrick's mother wanted to say more. Enough. My dad interrupted her. My daughter needs rest. Please leave. As for the cooperation between our two families, let it end here too. We, the Chung family, cannot climb high to reach your Liu family. These words were extremely heavy, almost completely tearing faces apart. Patrick's father swayed, face deathly gray. Just then, the ward door was slammed open with a bang. Patrick rushed in, his hair messy, eyes bloodshot, looking mad. Behind him followed nurses and my brother trying to stop him. Sarah, listen to me. He threw himself directly in front of my bed, kneeling with a thud, startling my parents and Zoe. I was wrong. I'm not human. I'm a bastard, he said while slapping himself hard. crisp sounds echoing in the ward. I was blinded by lard. I believed Anna's ghost talk. But the one I love in my heart is you, Sarah. I've always loved only you. Towards Anna, it's just responsibility. Childhood sentiment. I didn't really want to give up on you. I thought at the time. He started his logic-confused explanation again, looking at his humble begging, hysterical appearance. I felt no fluctuation in my heart, only thick disgust. Once, I thought he was high-spirited, confident and dazzling. But now, he was like a dog who lost its bone, only able to wag its tail and beg for pity. No, he was worse than a dog. Dogs are at least loyal. Patrick. I interrupted his self-performance, voice not loud, but like an ice pick, piercing all his disguises. You don't love me. You love yourself. You love yourself. Moved deep affection persona. He looked up sharply, staring at me blankly. Ask yourself. I continued, gaze like a knife. If yesterday, Anna really was panda blood, and I was too, and that bag of blood went to her, and I died, what would you do? You would cry bitterly holding my corpse, saying sorry to me, then turn around and be with your Anna, enjoying love while treating me as the eternal cinnabar mole in your heart, to prove how forced and helpless you once were, how deeply affectionate and unforgettable. Right. Patrick's pupils contracted sharply, lips trembling but unable to make any sound. My words hit the most hidden, most unbearable corner of his heart. See, I know you too well. I pulled the corner of my mouth. The smile must have been ugly. So, stop saying you love me. Your love is too cheap, too hypocritical. I can't afford it, and I find it disgusting. No, it's not like that. Not. Patrick shook his head frantically, eyes unfocused, as if my words completely shattered his last psychological defense. I love you, Sarah. I really. He suddenly hugged his head, emitting a beast-like whimper, curling up on the floor, crying in collapse. Why is it like this? Anna, why did you lie to me? Sarah, sorry. I was wrong. I really was wrong. Incoherent. Completely lost control. Patrick's parents were ashamed and anxious, quickly stepping forward with the doctors and nurses rushing over upon hearing the news, forcefully dragging the almost limp Patrick out. The ward finally quieted down completely. Leaning on the pillow, I let out a long breath. The giant stone pressing on my chest, making me breathless, seemed to be finally removed with his collapse. Settlement complete. Patrick and I were even. Everything that followed was handled quickly. My body was gradually recovering. Fractures need time to heal. But the heart's wound healed quickly after seeing the truth and completely severing ties. The Liu parents came a few more times trying to make amends, even offering huge compensation, but were coldly refused by my parents. My brother had bodyguards guard outside the ward, not letting them approach again. As for Patrick, I heard his mental state was very bad, sometimes mad, sometimes depressed, sent to a psychological sanatorium by the Liu family. And Anna, after the car accident incident, she became the biggest joke in the circle. The meme of ordinary type A blood pretending to be panda blood, causing affectionate male lead to snatch genuine girlfriend's life-saving blood for love, was enough for everyone to laugh about over tea for years. She had no face to stay, packing up and leaving the city dejectedly, whereabouts unknown. See, reality is sometimes more ironic than fiction. The lies she plotted, and that faint showing off, eventually backfired on herself. Zoe stayed by my side, finding ways to make me happy, taking me surfing online, looking at various handsome guys, calling it washing eyes. My brother silently took over all work of cutting ties with the Liu family, including terminating cooperation and liquidating assets, doing it cleanly without letting me worry at all. A month later, I was discharged, returning home. The sunlight was just right, filling the living room. Mom made a table of my favorite dishes. Dad was still silent, but his eyes were full of the joy of regaining what was lost. Standing on the balcony, looking at the vibrant scene in the garden downstairs, I took a deep breath. In a world without Patrick, the air was so fresh. The phone rang. It was a strange number. I hesitated, then picked up. Hello. Is this Miss Sarah Chung? The other side was a clean, pleasant male voice. I am Dr. Lucas Shin from the City First Hospital Surgery Department. Lucas Shin. I recalled, seemed to be that calm and decisive chief surgeon that day. Hello, Dr. Shin. Is something the matter? Routine follow-up. How is your leg injury recovering? Are you doing rehabilitation exercises on time? His tone was professional and gentle. Quite well. Thank you for your concern, Dr. Shin. I paused, adding, especially, thank you for sticking to principles that day. Silence on the other end for a few seconds. Then he chuckled lightly. The laughter came through the current. A bit captivating. That is my duty. Any doctor with professional ethics would make the same choice. We chatted briefly about my recovery and ended the call. Putting down the phone, I felt a strange sensation in my heart. Not a flutter of the heart, but a kind of warmth from being respected by a professional. Leaving Patrick. My world didn't collapse. Instead, new sunshine shone in. Later, I heard Zoe gossiping that Dr. Shin had sighed privately with colleagues, saying he had never seen such an outrageous and dramatic medical disturbance, and expressed sympathy and a trace of appreciation for me. He said it was rare for me to remain calm and point out the key in that situation. Zoe winked and said, Sarah, I think Dr. Shin is nice, professional, calm, handsome, and most importantly, has correct values. Want to consider? I smiled and patted her. What nonsense. I just want to focus on my career now. Dating. Too harmful. Yes. Focus on career. Going through this, I understood more than ever that relying on anyone is not as good as relying on oneself. Love can be the icing on the cake of life, but it must never be the only match sending warmth in the snow. I put all my energy into work, using my design and marketing knowledge, together with my brother, making our family brand flourish. Occasionally, I would see news about the Liu family in financial news, saying their reputation was damaged due to that incident, and losing our Chung family as an important partner. Business plummeted. Glory gone. My heart had no ripples. You reap what you sow. That's all. Half a year later, at a business cocktail party, I met Lucas Shin again. He represented their hospital to participate in a medical charity project. Wearing a fitted suit, he was less serious than in the hospital, more gentle and refined. We smiled at each other and chatted naturally, talking about work, life, hobbies. He was a good talker and knew how to listen. Chatting with him was comfortable. When the party ended, he drove me home. Downstairs, he looked at me, eyes clear and sincere. Miss Ching, you are very special. Hope to have the honor, as a friend, to know you more in the future. I looked at him, not answering immediately. The evening breeze blew my hair, carrying the unique fresh scent of early summer nights. I thought of the life and death farce in the hospital half a year ago. Thought of Patrick's you can definitely tough it out yourself. Yes, I toughed it out, not as he wished. Lonely toughing through death in blood loss and despair, but reborn from ashes. Thoroughly toughed through that blind, humble relationship that almost cost my life. Welcoming a more sober, independent, powerful self. I raised my head, showing a truly relaxed and bright smile to Lucas. Sure, but just call me Sarah. My new life has just begun. And that old scar named Patrick had long fallen off completely in time and self-growth. Even the mark was about to disappear. What really needs to be toughed out is never the physical trauma, but the inner confusion. I am glad I walked out. Life after discharge was like pressing the fast-forward button, or like being completely formatted and installing a new, more efficient operating system. My world no longer revolved around the name Patrick. Time belonged completely to myself and the career I loved. My cooperation with my brother David became more tacit. He managed the external, responsible for strategy and channels. I managed the internal, grasping product design and brand marketing. Our family's originally somewhat traditional home brand 17 build, under my tinkering, began to inject fresh blood. I launched a series of designs themed independence, rebirth, and self-space, boldly using colors and lines, emphasizing furniture comfort and personalized expression. Market response was unexpectedly good, especially the slogan I personally drafted. Your space is the mirror of your soul. No need to distort for anyone. Touched the hearts of many urban women. Zoe held sales data, running noisily into my office. Sarah. Exploded. Exploded again. Do you think Patrick that scumbag opened up your governor and conception vessels? This design inspiration is gushing. I rolled my eyes at her, slamming a new design plan in front of her. Shut up and look at the plan for this new series. But inwardly I had to admit, that purgatory-like experience was like a sharp carving knife, shaving off the dependence, cowardice, and fantasy from me, giving me a clearer and crueler understanding of self, human nature, and life. These understandings have now turned into nutrients and confidence for creation. I am no longer Sarah Chung, who needed to rely on the identity of Patrick's girlfriend to gain recognition. I am Sarah Chung herself. This recognition makes my steps light and gaze firm. The friend relationship with Lucas was progressing unhurriedly. He didn't launch a fierce offensive like some suitors. His approach was just right, with a doctor's unique rigor and sense of propriety. When my shoulders were sore from drawing for a long time, he would send a few simple stretching videos with a note. Designer Chung, please pay attention to combining work and rest. When I posted late-night coffee for overtime on social media, he commented, excessive caffeine affects sleep quality. Suggest changing to hot milk. He would also share interesting medical jokes or articles about design psychology with me when he encountered them. Our chats rarely involved romance. More of this daily, trivial, yet caring sharing. This feeling was wonderful, like building a tacit understanding that flows slowly like a stream. The first formal date was after I completely threw away the crutches and could walk normally. He asked me to see a technology exhibition about the mysteries of the human body. This location choice was very Lucas, not romantic at all, but strangely fitting my current state of mind. I was full of interest in exploring the thing called human. The exhibition was interesting, from skeletal structures to neural networks, showing the precision and complexity of living organisms. Lucas was by the side, occasionally using easy-to-understand language to give me some supplementary explanations in a low voice. His voice was peaceful, logic clear, body having a faint smell of disinfectant mixed with refreshing soap. Not unpleasant, instead giving a reassuring, clean feeling. Standing in front of a huge, simulated beating heart model, I was a bit lost in thought. Once, my heart almost stopped beating from pain for another person's heartlessness. And at this moment, it beat steadily and powerfully in my chest, accelerating gently for this mysterious world before my eyes, and for this gentle and calm man beside me. Amazing, isn't it? Lucas looked at that heart model and said softly, it is so powerful, able to support us for a lifetime, yet so fragile, needing careful protection. I turned to look at him. His eyes behind the lenses were clear and focused, reflecting the flowing light and shadow of the model. Yes, I nodded. So protect it well. Don't let it shatter easily for unworthy people and things. He looked at me, eyes holding appreciation and a deeper understanding. He didn't reply, just smiled slightly. That smile like warm winter sun. Not blazing, but warm enough. After the exhibition, we ate at a nearby restaurant. The atmosphere was good, food delicious. We talked a lot. From respective professions, to funny things in school, to views on some social phenomena. I found that Lucas wasn't just an excellent doctor. He had broad knowledge, open thinking, and respected others very much. He never tried to dominate the topic, nor deliberately catered. Always able to listen seriously, then give sincere, insightful responses. This was a long-lost feeling of being treated equally and respected seriously. When paying the bill, he naturally took out his wallet. I didn't fight, just smiled and said, my treat next time. He looked up at me, eyes brightening, then smiled too. Okay. No shifting responsibility, no polite formula. A tacit understanding flowed between adults without words. Just when I thought life would grow towards the sun calmly and positively like this, Patrick appeared again. In a way I didn't expect. It was an industry award ceremony. 17 Build won an annual Innovative Design Award. I went on stage to receive the award as the brand manager. Spotlights hit me. Wearing a simple and neat black suit dress, I calmly delivered the acceptance speech, thanking the team, family, and all supporters. I didn't mention that unbearable past, but every word revealed the strength of rebirth after disaster and the pride of independence. Thunderous applause from the audience. I saw Zoe and my brother applauding hard below, eyes red. After the ceremony, I accepted brief interviews from several media outlets backstage. Just sent off a batch of reporters. Turned around and saw a familiar yet strange figure. It was Patrick. He had lost a lot of weight, almost out of shape. His once high-spirited brows shrouded in a layer of lingering gloom and haggardness. Wearing an ill-fitting suit, standing in the corner shadows, he looked at me with complex eyes, regret, obsession, and a trace of unwillingness. My good mood was instantly halved, but I didn't dodge. Just looked at him calmly, as if looking at an irrelevant stranger. Sarah. He stepped forward, voice hoarse and dry. Congratulations. Thank you. My tone was distant and polite. I watched the live broadcast. You were great. Really. He spoke incoherently, eyes greedily lingering on my face, as if trying to retrieve something lost from me. I knew it. You've always been excellent, Mr. Liu. If there's nothing else, I have other arrangements. I interrupted him, not wanting to hear these meaningless regrets. Current praises are more disgusting than the harm back then. Don't call me Mr. Liu. He suddenly got emotional, stepping forward wanting to grab my arm. I quickly stepped back, avoiding his touch, eyes turning cold. Please have some self-respect. My coldness and guard were like a basin of ice water. Waking him up, he froze in place, a painful look on his face. Sarah, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I've been regretting every day for the past 6 months. I went to a sanatorium, saw a psychologist. I'm better now. Really better. Give me another chance. Okay. He was almost begging. Those peach blossom eyes that once fascinated me now filled with pitiful tears. If it were half a year ago, I might have softened. But now, my heart was only a desolate calm. Patrick. I called his name, voice without a ripple. Between us, it ended long ago. The moment you chose to give up on me, it ended completely. Your regret, your healing, have nothing to do with me. Please don't disturb my life again. No, it has to do. He growled low, attracting side glances from several staff members nearby. We had a 3-year relationship. How can you say it has nothing to do just like that? Sarah, I know you still hate me. Hate means you still care about me. I was almost laughed at by his logic. I don't hate you. I looked at him, enunciating each word clearly. Hate is a strong emotion, requiring mental effort. And you, Patrick, aren't worth it. He seemed struck by lightning, staggering back a step, face pale as paper. My life now is very good. Work, family, friends, and... I paused, Lucas' gentle smiling face flashing in my mind, tone unconsciously softening a bit. Someone I'm getting to know, worthy of respect. I hope you can also let go of the past and start your new life. But we won't have any intersection anymore. After speaking, I didn't look at his reaction, turned around, straightened my back, stepped on high heels, and walked firmly towards Zoe and my brother waiting not far away. Behind me, there seemed to be Patrick's suppressed, broken sobbing. But I didn't look back, not even once. Walking out of the venue, the night wind carried a chill, blowing on my face, but making me feel incredibly sober and carefree. Zoe held my arm, whispering, "You okay?" I shook my head, revealing a relieved smile. "I'm fine. Just finally cleaned out the last bit of garbage completely." Yes, this time, it was a true break. A few days later, Lucas and I agreed to see a play. When meeting, he handed me a small paper bag containing an exquisitely packaged box of osmanthus cake. Passed by an old brand shop. Heard it tastes good. Brought you a box. His tone was natural, as if just doing it in passing. I took it, heartwarming slightly. He remembered I casually mentioned last chat that I missed the osmanthus cake I ate as a child. The play was wonderful. A story about a woman finding herself in adversity. After it ended, we walked slowly along the night street. Today's play reminded me of you. Lucas suddenly spoke. I turned to look at him. Both bloomed more resilient flowers on ruins. He looked at the flashing neon ahead, voice gentle and affirmative. I paused, then smiled. He didn't mention any specific people or things, but he understood everything. Dr. Shin. I stopped and looked at him. Thank you. Thank me for what? He also stopped, turning to face me, eyes looking exceptionally gentle under the street lamp. Thank you for your osmanthus cake. I shook the paper bag in my hand. And thank you for your... just right. Thank you for your appearance. Thank you for your respect. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for letting me know that a healthy, benign relationship should be comfortable and full of power like this. He looked at me, gentleness in his eyes almost overflowing. He slowly reached out and gently held the hand holding the paper bag. His palm was dry and warm, carrying a reassuring power. I didn't break free. Night wind blew, carrying the lingering scent of osmanthus and the unique breath of the city night. Holding hands, we walked side by side on the dimly lit long street, neither speaking again. But a silent, warm emotion flowed quietly between our clasped hands. I knew my new life lay not only in independence and success in career, but also in finally learning how to love myself, and how to identify and accept a truly worthy, healthy love. Shadows of the past might still flash occasionally, but they can no longer shroud my future, because I am strong enough. And, walking on a road full of flowers, growing towards the sun, this road, I will walk very well.